Welcome everyone to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. I'm Austin,
I'm BJ.
and this week we are going to be talking about Dragon Quest III Remake, and if you're on the fence about getting it, why we think you should play it, and why we're personally excited about it. I should also mention that we're trying a new thing where we're also recording our video of our episodes. And so you can head over to our YouTube channel and hopefully see this video there. Yes, is all that information correct?
Yes, and I'm hoping also that if you're on Spotify, that you can watch it there too. We're trying. We're going to be trying this stuff. This is new for us, so bear with us as we're learning how to be the middle-aged guys who are trying technology like the young kids.
I'm not middle-aged. We established this.
I know you're almost middle-aged. Yeah,
I'm on the cusp of middle age.
So you're right. Excuse me again.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence, if you're listening to this, just like the audio of this, and you're like, what would I get out of listening to a video recording of your podcast? I have some temptations here.
Oh no.
Number one, I have a little Carver figure to show everybody. See, Carver, isn't he nice? He got the muscles.
Yep.
Yes. And then I also brought along the little shell slime riding a wave. This is one of my favorites.
That is a good one.
It's a good one. Kind of goes with the beachy Dragon Quest atmosphere.
Yeah.
In my office here. So anyway, you can't get that by only listening to audio.
You can't. I've also got right above me that I always keep here is my Slime Knight mini that I can't remember. I honestly can't remember if you or Jennifer got me this, but I make sure that I keep it on top of my windowsill that's just right above my desk. And for some reason, Zoom keeps blurring it out, but I'm gonna put it by my eyeball now so it doesn't. But it's really cool. I love this one. This is probably my favorite thing I've got for DQ, other than some homemade stuff that I have in the window in the other room.
Yeah. So anyway, temptation is there. Just, if you want to watch video of this, you can see those things we're talking about. If you're listening to the audio of this, then you probably can't, but it's okay because most of this episode is just going to be talking like it normally is.
And I mean, you also, the bonus is you get to see our beautiful faces as well. So there's that.
You get to see my beautiful face and BJ.
I made that joke earlier. You beat me. You beat me to it
here. I did. I'm sorry. Anyway, so Dragon Quest 3, I always get it wrong. 2D HD, not HD-2D. Is that right?
2D HD? I thought it was the HD-2D. Oh no. Now I gotta look.
I think it's 2D HD. Is it HD-2D? I don't know. There's letters.
HD-2D. It is HD-2D.
Okay,
HD-2D remake. Yep.
There's too many numbers and letters in this title because you have like Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D remake.
Yep.
Anyway, so this game comes out November 15th, and thankfully it comes out on like a bunch of different systems. So pretty much any platform I think that you have, unless you only play on your cell phone. I don't think it's coming to mobile, but Switch, PS5, it's Xbox as well. Right?
I actually missed that it was Xbox. Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Xbox and PC. Yeah.
Let me click on the.
You can fact check me on that if you want, but I'm fairly certain, that it's coming to all platforms.
It is Xbox, Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and physical for Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. So there's not going to be a PC version of it right now. Sometimes they do, physical versions that you still just have a download code in, like DQ10. But
yeah. So anyway, that's the good news. That's part of the reason why you should check this game out, is because it is a widely available Dragon Quest game on day one, which is kind of uncommon for the last few years. I'm trying to think. We had DQ11 came out on PlayStation, and then you had to wait a bit to get 11S on Switch, and then they did 11S on PlayStation and Xbox after the fact. I think it eventually came to PC as well.
I think this straight up 11 started out on PC because that's where I started playing. You were playing it on PS5, and I was playing it on Steam at the same time.
No,
So
I
I'm
was
pretty
playing on
sure.
PS4. That was before the PS5
Oh,
ever came out.
PS4. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that was like
PS4. You're playing
2018.
it on PlayStation while I was playing it on Steam, and I decided to stop and wait on getting 11S on the Switch because that's where I wanted to play it.
Yeah, and so that one didn't immediately come to all platforms. Then you had, the wait for 11S. Builders 2 had to wait. Monsters, The Dark Prince had to wait.
Mhm.
Treasures had to wait. Those were on Switch, then eventually came to PC. So it's like this is the first Dragon Quest game. I guess Die technically came to all consoles, but I'm not gonna count
We
that
don't
one.
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about Die. So yeah, so that's pretty exciting that we've got like a day one thing.
Mhm.
I'm personally really excited for it. I got to see like a kind of earlier build preview of DQ3 back over the summer, um, and it looked good. Everything that I saw
I
from it
hate that
looked
I didn't know about this, but your confidentiality for your
cool.
job.
No, this the like NDA thing already expired for that. I definitely
Oh,
told you about it.
I don't think you did. I don't think
I
you
don't
told me
think
about actually getting to. Did you play it?
No, no, no. I didn't get to
Okay,
play
this
the
was
I
just
I
a.
I didn't get to play the game. I didn't get to go, we had somebody else going to
Right,
for
I gotcha.
previews.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that. I was thinking you
yeah.
got to play it. I was like, I didn't hear about you getting to play this.
No, no, no. I didn't get to go in person hands-on with it.
Right.
Um, I've had to turn down that one in DQ Treasures, or was it The Dark Prince? Anyway, I've had to turn things down because of, like, family things always seem
Yeah.
to happen when they do Dragon Quest, when they send out invites to these things, and it was like one year it was around the twins' birthday, and I was like, I don't wanna be
Yep.
gone for the twins' birthday," and then it was like Grace was pregnant, so it was just like, didn't
Yeah.
wanna leave, like, pregnant wife and 3 kids, um, alone. So,
Hopefully you
anyway,
don't have kids, man,
hopefully
or a
hope
wife, I guess.
hopefully, just gonna ignore that. Hopefully, the next one, will come through. But I thought everything looked pretty good. It's weird because I read this has been now a little while. I think sites were allowed to share previews in like June or July. And I get that like not everybody that goes is gonna be like a DQ expert or like DQ fan, but it was weird because one of the previews I read was like kind of a negative preview that was talking about how they didn't like that it gave you a quiz at the beginning of the game and you had to make choices and stuff like that. And just like the whole time I was reading it, like all of their complaints, like the whole article was them just complaining really about like the hour that they got to play and about how you had to do this quiz and everything. And I'm like, but that's like that's like how DQ3 starts.
Yeah, like that's
That's the game. I think I would be disappointed if they didn't have that in there in
yeah,
their
like
remake.
that's DQ3 on the NES like 30 something years ago, and now
Yeah.
it like that blows my mind because it also takes all of 30 seconds to take. Like that is not a major part of the intro. Like you take this quiz, you answer it, it tells you all of this stuff, and then it starts. Like that's
Yeah.
not something that takes a major part of this game where it begins and like you're 30 minutes taking a personality quiz. It asks you like 3 questions.
And maybe there's a few little other tests than that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
it doesn't take long, but also I'm wondering if maybe like if you're depending on what type of like player you are, if maybe like you see that and you're like you take it very seriously. But I also like saw things that were like I confirmed with other people who were there that like you get different questions based on your answers and stuff like that. And again, I was just that's that's how Dragon Quest 3 works. Like, I don't
yeah.
know. It just and I get that like not every site has a Dragon Quest like enthusiast on their staff and needs to send people or whatever, but it was just kind of like a weird thing to have to like read, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's
overall,
a weird nitpick.
yeah, overall, I thought the previews were really good. The person at Screen Rant, who got to preview DQ3, spoke very, very highly of it. And so, like, I'm, really looking forward to it. I'm also really looking forward to it because of like the extra stuff. And I mean, I think that's something we've kind of talked about before. Is that like with a remake, it's like there's a certain standard about like uh, do you have to remake it in the way like look at FF7 where it's like a
Right.
completely like different game, different engine. It doesn't look really anything like the original, or
Mhm.
does it need to be like the Live Alive game, which was also HD-2D? Had to
Mhm.
think for just a second. I almost called it 2D HD again. But like that one still kind of looks more like its original.
Yeah.
Second Story is another one. First Departure R, the Star Ocean games,
Yeah.
where there's like they kind of resemble a little bit, and it's not to the extent that like FF7 Remake was. And so I think with that, like this game, like I'm perfectly fine with the way it looks. I'm perfectly
Mhm.
fine that it retains a lot of that stuff, but I'm also excited that there's new things
Yeah.
like the Ortega storyline. Like I'm excited to get to see that and see how that all works because I like at this point I'm not really sure how it works.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing it this way as opposed to any like doing it the Final Fantasy VII way. And it's probably because I didn't like Rebirth at all, and where I don't want them to go too far away from what the game is. That this is one of those games I want to play because of the game it is, not because of some. And it is admittedly nostalgia for a lot of people that it is
Mhm,
one of those things that you grew up with, you played all the way through it, and it's nostalgia coming through. But it's not like the Final Fantasy VII, where three is overblown in how much it's loved. That
mhm.
three, and somebody's going to send hate mail for this. That it's not overhyped and like put on a pedestal so much that it's not accurate like Final Fantasy VII is. Where the love for DQ3, I think, is earned, the love for Final Fantasy VII is um, only somewhat earned. Like I have very fond memories of it from when I was
Mhm.
14 years old, and it's a
Yeah, me too.
very good game, but it's not the best in the series, and it's not the best RPG ever. Where the remake is like way out beyond that to hit those kinds of people who love it that much. DQ3, I think, has a much more like normal range of love, which is why I'm glad that they're doing a relatively faithful remake of it, where it's the same game at its core, but they're
Mhm.
expanding it, making it modern, doing the things that we want from a game that is both released now and faithful to the one that's then.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, and I think and that's the thing, like, I guess to back up if you've never played DQ3, because 'cause we're kind of approaching this just assuming that everybody has played one of the iterations of DQ3
Mm,
already, but it's like,
right.
even if you haven't played Dragon Quest III, like, 2 weeks ago, Grace's family all came down, my wife's family were all down, and her brother Daniel, who's into a lot of the same stuff as me, was actually asking me about DQ3 Remake, and
Okay.
he asked me, he was like, how I've never played the original. He'd played other Dragon Quest games, but he was like, how does DQ3 compare to like 4 and 5? Because he's played 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, look, there's a huge like portion of the fan base that will tell you like DQ3 is the best one. I was like, to me, like I think I look at it this way, where it's like narratively compared to 4 and 5, like, it's not as fun. Like, what makes DQ3 so much fun is, like, its job system
Mhm.
and, the exploration and just going around to, like, the different towns and the way that that one's kinda set up is really good, and it's all about gameplay, and with him, because I knew he had played, like, Final Fantasy games, like, I told him that I look at DQ3 as kinda like the Final Fantasy V of Dragon Quest, where it's like you play it and
Yeah.
it's one of the most fun Dragon Quest games you will ever play, but like, from a narrative standpoint, like, you're not gonna count it as high as, like, FF9, Like, I wouldn't count it
You
as
brought up
high as D
FF9.
as D
Bingo, 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 bingo.
like, I wouldn't count it as high as, like, DQ11 or even, like,
Right.
DQ4 or 5 in terms of, like, narrative, but it's going to be one of the most fun Dragon Quest games you ever play, and so because of that, because of just, like, the sheer amount of fun it is, like, I feel like you always are gonna rank it like, everybody's always gonna rank it higher up on
Yeah.
the list than they might otherwise, even though I do feel like the story sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired, and part of that is just, being a game that came out in, like, '89.
Yeah. being so old, it's not it really can't be as in depth as some of the others. Though 4 coming out when it did on the NES like that did push pretty much every boundary. But you saying that reminded me again of like the most fun you have. Like I do, I think that's a really good way of putting it for Final Fantasy V because it's not a great story. It's okay, but it's just so much fun that you just want to constantly go back to it.
Mhm.
And you saying that about him playing 4 is I am 90% certain that I own Nathaniel's DQ4 3DS copy because I
Da
bought it at the
Daniel,
Lawrenceburg. Daniel, excuse me, Daniel, not
other
Nathaniel.
other
Um,
brother, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that I have Daniel's uh DQ4 copy that he bought. I need to find out that, or I bought from GameStop in Lawrenceburg. You need to find out if he turned it in and sold it there because there's a
Mm.
save file that I've kept on there that I think is his. But
'Cause it's Daniel or what?
I can't remember what made me think of it. I need to go
Yeah.
look at it again. But I was thinking, I was like, this has to be Grace's brothers, right?
I'll
And
ask I'll ask him because he's kind of, not as bad as me, but I mean, he's kind of a pack rat like I
oh
am.
yeah,
So, like, in his room, because he doesn't live at home anymore, but a lot of his stuff is still in his room. So when we visit in Tennessee, like we've been in there before and everything, and it's very similar to my office. And just like there's all the games he's
right,
like ever bought are really there, and like action figures and books and stuff.
yeah.
So I'm not sure. I would be surprised if he didn't keep it.
Okay. All right, I'll go after this episode. I'm going to go boot up the 3DS and see what the save file is because I made sure to keep it because when I saw the name on there, something made me be like, "That's Grace's brother, right?" And
Yeah.
so I
Hmm.
need to go check.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I guess it always
Yeah,
could be, but I would, if I were a betting man, I'd say that he probably has kept it.
yeah.
And
Okay,
it's on his shelf somewhere.
I'll
But
see.
another thing I'm really excited for, like for DQ3, is the game is going to have like little treasures you can find where it's like this tree looks weird, or like this rock formation looks weird, and you go over there and like check it out. I am curious because that kind of thing excites me because I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
you know this, people who listen to this podcast know this. Like, I'm the kind of person where I just want to run around and like spam the X button or whatever,
Yeah.
untouch everything and try to find things. And so like that's really exciting to me. I want to find little things and collect stuff. I did wonder though, because I saw today's Wednesday. Um, so I saw, I guess maybe yesterday, maybe Tuesday, maybe last week, at some point, the official like Dragon Quest, like social media accounts all posted a thing about this, and they were like, you can find like special items, coins, different treasures, things like that, and it really legit, like not to be like that kind of fan, but I really was like, are there coins, like, as a new thing, or do they mean mini medals? Like, I assume
Right.
it was mini medals, and the social accounts just called them coins, but I didn't even, like, it didn't even dawn on me at
Hmm.
first, and then after the fact, I was like,
Hmm.
"Coins?" So I'm like, "Is there a new collectible in there, or is it just gonna be mini medals?" To me, mini medals make the most sense. I think
That
it's
would
probably
make the
just,
most sense.
yeah, I think it's probably just a socials person, like, being general, but, I don't know. I'm
Yeah, I don't
excited to
know.
find it, like,
And
whatever it is.
I'm excited that the social stuff is actually promoting this game. That I've seen a lot of ads for this on different social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, not Threads, but Instagram, I think. Like they're
Mhm.
pushing this and it's early and it's really surprising because, as everyone listening knows, DQ doesn't always get the love that we feel like it should in the West. But seeing ads for the HD-2D remake makes me really hopeful about it that they've done it justice and really want people to play this one as opposed to something like Die, which went under the radar for very good reason.
Yeah, yeah, or like Treasures, like, I feel like
Treasures.
I mean, I really enjoyed my time with Treasures, and I feel like everybody just played and then forgot about that game, but I really liked it. Um, and
Wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't spectacular. It
yeah,
wasn't great.
I I don't know, I really liked it. It was a collection game, and
Yeah.
again, I love collecting things, so it's kind of like, this is a game that I can just run around and mindlessly collect
Right.
everything, like literally like thousands of things.
Yeah.
And so like I was all for that, even if like the combat and other things didn't quite like gel with me
Yeah.
the way I wanted it to. But the other big thing, I guess, with DQ3 that's like new for us to talk about is the new job that's being added. They have the monster Beastmaster. I don't
Mhm.
know what I think they're going to call it Beastmaster.
Which
I
isn't
feel
a new class for DQ. Like there are Beastmasters in other games, right? Like I'm
it
remembering Beastmaster.
DQ10 had one, has
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was never in DQ3, and I don't think it's been in anything outside of 10. Um, and so like I'm excited about that, and I'm curious to see how that kind of works with the vocation system, because like that is what makes that game so fun. Like I love job systems in video games, and three's vocation system is just why I love it, and it's why it has so much replay value. Like
Mhm.
I think I've even said on the podcast before, like for the longest time, like my kind of holiday tradition there for a while was I would play the first three Dragon Quest
Mhm.
games because they're all relatively short. When you put them all together, it's kind of like what one big long JRPG would be now. So I kind of just play them all in one go. And so like 1 is super short, 2 is kinda short, and then 3 feels more like a substantial game,
Mhm.
but it's just like but the replay value is just so high, and it's because of the vocation system and getting to kind of experiment with jobs, and there's not I don't tend to see the stuff that like, what do they call it for Final Fantasy? The FF5 thing that everybody tries to do where it's like
The four
you
job fiesta.
Yes, thank you. Where like I haven't seen that kind of thing working with DQ3,
Mm-mm.
but it is kind of interesting, and it's like it's one of those things too where like I talk a big game about experimentation, but at the same time it's like I kind of have a favorite party and like a favorite set of jobs and
Yeah.
like I know what I'm like, especially in the later games where you have like other bridges of other jobs that you master and then expand out, you know? It's like
Yep.
I know if there's a sage, I'm always going to like go
Right.
really fast to try
Yeah.
to get a sage, you know? And
Paladin
so
for me. I love Paladin. I'll always
Paladin's
like
cool,
work really
yeah.
hard toward a Paladin.
Yeah, Paladin's cool, and so it's one of those things where it's just like the the job system is definitely gonna be a big, like, reason for me
Yeah.
playing this game. It's a big reason why I love it, it's a big reason why I think a lot of people do, and, if if you've never played a game with a job system before, this is probably a really good one to start with. I mean, I
Yep.
know the original DQ3 is, and so I have to assume that Remake is
Yeah.
just going to be like a fantastic one to really just, um, fall in love with and see what a job system in an RPG is like.
Yeah, I mean, and on that same note, if you want to get a head start on that and like figure it out, see what kinds of things are there, there is a remake of the 2D version on Switch for like $12. It's on mobile as well. Just if you, it's on, they're on sale all the time, so it's 12.49 right now for its big price. Big price. It's regular
Big
price.
price,
Big
big price.
price. And but it's on sale pretty often on mobile, and that if you want to see what the job system is before the next month is out, and if you want to play with the job system, I do recommend Final Fantasy V. The pixel remasters are really 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 well done, so if you
Yeah,
want
it's
to
a good
play
one.
with something to get your to wet your whistle on for DQ3 HD-2D remake, then Final Fantasy V is honestly the best way to do it outside of the DQ3 Seeds of Salvation remaster. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, job system. I love job systems too. Like, and Final Fantasy V holds the same place in my heart. I think that 9 holds for you because of just nostalgia, playing it so much, the
yeah,
translation thing, blah blah blah. But also, yeah, I just love the job system in it, and I look really forward to playing HD2D three HD2D to be able to experiment a lot more than I've ever done in 3 before. I look forward to like really digging in on this one and probably spending as much time with the job system in the HD2D remake of this as I did with Nine's job system, DQ9's job
DQ9,
system
yeah.
on the 3DS, I guess on the DS that I did, because I spent so much time playing with it that it's my favorite one. I know you like seven's better, but I like nine is my favorite one in the game, in the series so far. And I'm curious, have you seen anything? Because I haven't. I haven't actually kept up a lot with like news details on this stuff that pops
Mhm.
up. And have you seen anything about them expanding the job system outside of adding new jobs? Like, are they going to do vocations and like change the way that the system works?
Not that I know of. The only real thing I've seen is that they're adding the Beastmaster job. They're adding a new job to the game. Um,
But yeah, so it'll still be hopefully around that same kind of system, because sometimes they try to, reinvent the wheel and do new kinds of systems and formats and how you're going to do it. So I didn't know if that was going to be a thing with this, as well as them adding in the new one.
yeah, not that I'm aware of. Um, and I should also say that this is not like a like promotional episode or anything.
No,
Like we're not getting paid for this at all. We just like DQ3, and on the off chance that you listen to a Dragon Quest podcast already and are on the fence about DQ3, this is us just telling you why we're excited about it and you should check it out.
yep.
So uh, also one more for the video folks. Here's a little ignore the dust. It's the solar one of the solar little slime knights. He broke, so I brought him up to my office. The battery in it, I guess, doesn't work
Oh,
anymore or something. He used to wiggle like
yep.
this in the sun all the time.
You had that above your sink, right?
Yeah, I had this one in a Moogle playing a trumpet,
Yeah.
and I also had No Face, like from
Hmm.
Spirited Away, and No Face and the Moogle still work, but he doesn't. So I uh, brought him up to my office, and now he just sits by my computer all day where I can look at him. So a nice little parting gift for the video folks to see
Yeah, I
that,
was
and
trying.
hopefully all of this worked this episode so that people can actually go over to our YouTube
Yeah.
channel and see that. It is youtube.com/DQFM. You can just follow that link, and it will take you straight to the page, and you can see some of our older stuff. It's just like video recordings. There was a live stream we did of FF14, but we did this because there was a poll, which I know BJ linked to in show notes from last week. But it
Hmm.
was a poll where we had we just asked people, especially our patrons, like what kind of content you want to see from us, like moving forward and trying to like expand outward a little bit. And like the highest votes were for video, which this kind of checks that box. For live streaming, which I'm going to say this counts because this is very much a live thing. And
Between
then
us, at least, hopefully, we may get to some where you guys are in the comments and things
can
like
like
that as we
hang out
expand.
with us. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the dream, that's the goal, but we just have to do a little bit of time. We're trying again. That's just going to be the motto for the
Yeah.
next like
We
month. But
This is
um,
experimentation on our part, so please forgive us and bear with us, and please support us in this and give us ideas, that kind of thing.
yeah. Also, people said they wanted to hear more about Dragon Quest from us, so we tried to check that box as well. If you would like to check that out or support this podcast, you can head over to patreon.com/DragonQuestFM and let us know what you want to hear. If you want to talk to us individually, um, or not individually, just the podcast in general, it's throwing me off my game because we're on video, I think.
Yeah, you look at me in the eye and you're like, I don't want to talk to you individually.
We're on Twitter, Blue Sky at Dragon Quest FM. If you want to talk to me individually, I'm not really around Blue Sky or Twitter much these days. It's
Mm-mm.
at Dragon Quaston. I got onto Twitter the other day and didn't stick around very long and tried to reply to a couple of DMs. I felt bad. I had some like DMs from September
Mhm.
that I just like never checked. But anyway, I am on there and I do try to respond. So hit me up over there if you want to talk.
Yeah, and I'm on Twitter and Threads more than anything. I'm on Twitter at BJK Games. I'm on Threads and Instagram at BJK.games. And I'm trying Blue Sky. I'm not 100% sure on it. It's still one of those that I'm on the fence, but I'm BJKgames.com there because I'm trying their new URL thing. And he mentioned the Patreon with the poll on it. You can still vote in that. It's open to the public, so you don't even have to be a free member. That would be awesome if you would be, or paid. But let us know what you want. Like you said, most people have voted for more Dragon Quest, which makes sense because it's a Dragon Quest podcast.
It makes
But
sense.
also,
Yes.
second is a tie between episodes on other games and YouTube videos. So let us know about that. So we're not video people, as you can probably tell. We're still learning this part, but we're really wanting to try and expand. So head over to patreon.com/DragonQuestFM and give us a shout on what you want to see. You can also leave a comment, anything on the social networks that he mentioned as well. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. This is awesome. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I really have. So
Yeah, for sure. Next time we do this, I'll juggle some Dragon Quest figures for everybody.
You better juggle slimes.
That'll make it more interesting, I think, since it's video. But anyway, thank you guys for listening or watching, I guess.
Before we go, I do have
Yeah.
to say that my favorite thing about you is that you were a professional juggler. Because I used to tell people when you were a student of mine that we went when you were in college that you you delayed going to college so that you could go to Florida and be a professional juggler. And when I told people that, they didn't believe me, and then I would send them to you and make you juggle.
Yeah, that's partially the truth. Yes, but yeah, I did.
But yeah, I would put it that way. I mean, yes, it's not the I'm like, I'm
truth.
going to be a juggler and then run off to Florida and join the circus. But really, like when I told people that it was it was actually one of my favorite things about working at that college was telling people that you didn't go to college and went to be a professional juggler in Florida, because just that sentence. But yeah, so now you guys know. Now you guys who are listening know.
Yep.
If you didn't already. And next week, provided that all of the technology and everything are working, since the hurricane is coming through Florida, you're not in one of the main danger areas. But if everything is working, we'll be back next week. And if y'all are in that zone, if y'all are in Florida or anywhere that's dangerous, please be safe. We care about you. Just take care of yourselves and your families, please.
Yeah, for sure. I know Platty, who hosts Slime Time podcast, like he lives over in Tampa. So I was texting with him last night, actually, checking in with him and his family. Sounded like they're doing pretty good. So
good.
He's making cool 3D. He's printing off trains, Dragon Quest themed trains for Ticket to Ride, and they're like slime themed. They look really cool. I don't want to steal his thunder. He might post them somewhere, talk about on his own podcast. But they looked really cool. He sent pictures to me, and they looked cool. Yeah.
So y'all go listen to Slime Time, see what's going on, check out Platty and his trains.
Yep.
So
thank you guys.
See you guys next week. Stay safe.
Yep. Bye everybody.